It's top of the hour, and it's time for Making a Difference. On this program, we interview people and organizations in our community that are making a difference in our lives. I'm your host, CJ Metcalfe. On today's show, we have something very unique. It's something all of us have experienced at one time or another, and that's the passing of a loved one. How do you deal with that? It's several stages that a person goes through. Some get through it a lot easier than others, but who really has a hard time are children. And with us today is Christine Carey from Valeries House, and she's going to explain what they do, how they do it, and how they can make a difference in your life. Christine, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay, many people don't understand what Valerie House is. Maybe they've never heard of it before. Explain what you do and where this is done. Is it a national, where can people find Valerie's House?
Very good. So actually, Valeries House has been around for 6 years. We're a nonprofit private organization. We're located in Naples, Fort Myers, Charlotte County, which now we have Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte location, as well as Pensacola. And so I am the outreach and program coordinator for Valeries House in Charlotte and Sarasota County. I service children in Sarasota County as well in the schools. And we do have Northport and Englewood families that come to the Port Charlotte, Valeries House Port Charlotte and Valeries House Punta Gorda location. And we meet twice a month. And what we do is we have grief support group for the whole family when they come to our facility. And we have grief group activities. When they first come in, we have a dinner. It's just so wonderful. And so from 6 to 6:30, we have a potluck dinners. And actually what's beautiful about the Valeries House Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte location, it's all donated for the whole year. We have it covered. So it's so beautiful. And so they eat dinner. And then from 6:30 to 8, we do activities that integrate with the grief. And they break up into age groups and grief groups. And we talk about, the grief. I brought some activities to show if you're interested, some of the things we do. And then at the end of the night, we get in a big circle. We hold hands. We do a hand squeeze. And we talk about our anniversary and birthdays of our loved one. And if it's their birthday, they get, we have a little surprise for them as well. And then we close and we come back the next time. So at the Punta Gorda, it's the first and third Monday of every month. And in Port Charlotte, it's the second and fourth Monday of every month.
A lot of healing can occur when you're with others that are suffering the same issues that you are. I know grief has different stages of denial and anger and sadness and wanting them to come back and not accepting what has happened. And I'm sure in your programs that people find others that they can relate to and go through this together. So it's not quite so painful.
That is so true. And what's so beautiful about Valeries House is we let them stay in our program as long as they want because grief never ends. So we have families in Charlotte County that have, we opened Charlotte County 2 years ago. And so they're still coming. And so we see the process and the transformation of where their grief was initially when they walked through that door to where they are now, and how some of them are even mentoring those that are coming in. And it's such a beautiful process to help families bond and grow. So that's what we do.
Well, I know when my dad passed, who I was very, very close to, I was his favorite. It took me 10 years to get past the grief. But I didn't have any help. And tell me, Christine, in like my particular case, had I come to a Valerie's House, what would have been the average total recovery time for me? I know you don't ever totally recover, but that I wouldn't have felt that heavy burden that you feel?
So that's a great question because grief is so individual and so unique. I can't, it's hard to even put a number on it. Um, Most of the families, they'll stay with us for a year, 2 years, if not more. So it just depends on the whole family and the dynamic of what they're going through and what type of death, how did it all happen? If it's very traumatic, there could be, longer time with us possibly, or it just really depends on the families. We also offer individual grief support. So if the families need that extra support counseling, we have 2 clinical social workers and a mental health facilitator on staff. And all of our program, all of it is free of charge. Everything that we do. So everything is run by grants, donations, and fundraising events. And so that's the beauty of Valeries House, that they can come and not worry about money and budget. We also help them financially. If they're struggling, it could be even sometimes lawyer fees. If there's a custody issue, sometimes grandparents now have to take care of the children because the parents died and they're no longer there. We have several different types of scenarios that happens. And we also support them that way too, if needed.
That's wonderful.
And we also have a mentor program. It's like the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. So each child, if they want, they can have a mentor. And for a year, for 4 hours a month, they can be with that mentor and get that support that they need, that one-on-one support. And so that's some beautiful things that are in Valerie's house that are unique. And, not everybody knows until they get into the program and realize all the special things that we offer for the children.
Well, I know like with hospice, they have a kind of a mini counseling effort towards those who have, the families that have had a loved one passed on. That you know of, are there any other organizations like you out there?
Well, we're the first and only nonprofit organization that is, our sole mission is to help grieving children in Southwest Florida. We're the only ones that's our sole mission. So there are other grief centers in Florida and other states. But as far as Southwest Florida, that's what we specify in. We have people that call from, up to Northport, like I said, Inglewood, Charlotte County, Lee, Naples areas. So also DeSoto County as well. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, you said you had some projects that you wanted to share that you do.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I'd love to share them. And I know we're on the radio, so I'll explain some of this. This little paper that I'm holding up is our colors of emotion. And so we talk about the colors of emotion and how we're feeling. And we have on here sadness, worry, anger, guilt, lonely, happy, relief, and shock. And they're all different colors. And we talk about those colors and how we're feeling. And we always share that it's okay to feel any of these emotions, and we help them cope with their feelings. If they're feeling sad or angry or guilty of the loss of their loved one. And so with that, we share with them the colors of emotion, and then we do art projects. This is one example of many that we talk about. This art project, we talk about how our inner feelings and our outer feelings, how we're feeling with those emotions. A lot of children on the outside will feel this yellow, which is on our chart, happy. They're showing happiness because they don't want their mom or dad that are living to feel worried or upset or mad that they're having these feelings too, that they're sad that they've lost their loved one. So we talk about that, and initially they get a white mask and they paint that on the outside, whatever color they're feeling, and they're showing the world on the outside. And in this particular case, this mask on the outside is showing yellow. And then we talk about our inner feelings. How are we feeling about the loss of our loved one? What's really going on inside? And then in this particular case, this person, these were the colors that we're showing. And so we have, there's blue, which signifies sadness, black, lonely, red, anger, green, guilt, and orange, shock. So that's how this person is feeling on the inside. And we talk about how we can help cope with those feelings. And it's a peer grief support group. So they're getting peer grief group support from others in their group that are the same age as they are. And so that's the beauty of grief group support. It's not a counseling center, it's grief group support. Again, if they need counseling, we offer that one-on-one, but it's not through the group setting. So this is one example of what we do in our grief groups. We also have Jenga. Do you know about Jenga, right? The game Jenga, when you stack them. Well, we like Jenga also, but what we do is we write questions on the Jenga board, little blocks. And some of them are like, what is a good memory you have of your special person? And so we'll play Jenga just like we normally do, but when you pull out your piece, then you read the question. And it's very engaging with the children, and they can interact and talk. And a lot of them have similarities of the death of their loved one. So that helps them bond and work through their grief process.
These are just amazing programs. I mean, and it makes sense to see what you're doing and a way to express yourself without having to sit there and just shed tears, which solves nothing.
So this is more engaging, like you said, more interactive. The children they start talking more once they're painting or doing something artsy or just hands-on activity. It starts engaging that conversation, and they don't have to talk. That's what we say at Valeries House. They can pass. We have a check-in at first. We tell our name, the person that died in our family, how we're feeling today, from a 0 to a 10, and something that they're hopeful for. After that part of the session, they can pass. But a lot of them start to engage in conversation just because of the art project or whatever we're doing. Another thing that we do at Valeries House is we give each child a bear. And not this one. We get bears donated, new bears with tags donated. And every child gets a bear if they wish. And it's just, especially right now, it's good for them to be able to hug something and hold something. A lot of us, due to COVID, there's some isolation there. So we still have that opportunity they can give a hug to their bear. We have blankets that are donated from some of our organizations, and then they get a journal to write in, and they can express how they're feeling either by writing or drawing. It's a great form of healing. We also give them a book. We have grief group books for different age groups, and they're able to take that book and bring it home and interact with their other siblings and parents and whoever they're living with to share how they're dealing with the grief. So we offer those to them, and they take those home with them. And so it's great support for the families.
Well, I'm sitting here listening to you and understanding what you're saying. And my goodness, I was an older adult when I lost my father, and I'm sitting here thinking, but I could use some these things that you're talking about, I very much could have used those. So I see how you can intertwine with, your focus being children, but also with the families. Now, Christine, if people wanted to find out about Valeries House, maybe, right now, do you have a website? How can people get in touch with you? Talk to me about that.
Yes. So our website is www.valerieshouse.org. And actually, it's popped up right here. This is our Valeries House website page. It has a plethora of ideas, grief support, many ways to provide services for our families and volunteers. So we always are looking for volunteers and donors. There's several ways to provide help for our families. And we have our resources on the next spot right there. Great resources. We have a grief toolkit. We have talking to kids about grief. We sometimes get calls that come in and say, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to my children. So we have these great things to share with resources for families as well as people that just call in, and need a little extra support. Volunteers getting involved here. I see you have that part. And yes, volunteers. We meet for the volunteers twice a month. It's from 5:30 to 8:30. And they are such a support for Valerie's House. If we didn't have our volunteers, we couldn't do this. We couldn't do Valerie's House. So that's why they're so important to us. Volunteers are also amazing for table events that we offer throughout the community. Just several opportunities. We have our mentor program for volunteering, the facilitators. We also have the Valeries House program, which is the mentor, like I shared. And then we have a Valeries House Charlotte County Advisory Committee that I run, and it is very supportive. And what we do in those is outreach, talk about what's happening in the community for Valeries House, what support we can provide them through fundraising and other opportunities.
Well, for our listeners who don't have the ability to see the video feed that is up on the page right now, if you do have access to a computer, the website is Valeries House. There it is, valerieshouse.org. So if you can get to a computer to look it up and look at all the opportunities. Our guest's name is Christine Carey, and she has even put her phone number up for anyone wishing to contact her, either out of need or if you're wanting to do some volunteer work. Her phone number is 239-841-0382. And Christine, I thank you for opening up your phone number for people. I want to try and give that to them again before we get off from the show. Now, you are a charitable organization. You live off of donations and fundraising. And if people are wanting to give to your cause, I believe you have an event coming up that would be not only entertaining and well worth a lot of bang for the buck, but there's prizes and all kinds of things you're going to be giving away. You want to talk about that event?
Oh, yes. It's going to be so exciting. It's a night of swing and lots of fun. It's from this, we're going to have the Suncoast Swing Band with Zarita Maddox. If you don't know Zarita, you've got to meet her. She's incredible, and she has an incredible talent of singing. So she sings all over Charlotte County, and she's phenomenal. I knew her before I knew that she could sing. And then when I found out she could sing, I thought, whoa, you have to go see her. So it will be on Saturday, October 16th at the Gulf Theater at the Military Heritage Museum. And all of the money that we raise for this event is going to benefit Valeries House and Zarita's nonprofit organization, which is Dream Chasers and Dream Makers Girls Mentoring Program. And what's amazing is right now, I do have a grief group support at Zarita's location. So like I shared, I do go to schools. I also go to other organizations. I've gone to Boys and Girls Club. I've done a grief group there. That's another organization I've worked with, but right now I'm currently with her. So it's very exciting to be able to collaborate in that way with another nonprofit. So anyway, about a night of swing, yes, October 16th, doors open at 6 p.m. It's going to be live music, amazing night, music from 40s onward to Raise the Roof, intermission entertainment from Punta Gorda's own Calendar Girls. There's going to be beer, wine, soda, and water for donation. There'll be a 50-50 and incredible gift basket raffles. So the tickets are $45, and you can buy your tickets at the militaryheritagemuseum.org. So there's tickets still available. We'd love for everyone to be able to participate and come.
This, for our listeners and our viewers, if you have never heard the Suncoast Swing Band, I'm telling you, they absolutely nail it. They rock it. It's not just 2 or 3 people that play. They have a whole orchestra that plays, and they are awesome. For those of you familiar with Punta Gorda, you may have heard them over at Nino's. I know they play on a regular basis over there. They have played at the museum before and just packed the house. So they are very entertaining. And the Calendar Girls, those girls are, well, they're older girls. They do an absolutely fabulous job. They're a synchronization drill team, and they put on a wonderful, wonderful show. So tickets being $45, you will well get your money's worth out of that. And again, you can go to the militaryheritagemuseum.org website and purchase those. Christine, do you know of any other way that, let's say if they don't have a computer, how they could go about getting those tickets?
That's a really great question. What I would do is, if you're in that case, I would call the Military Heritage Museum and see how they can provide alternative arrangements for you.
Maybe
they might be able
something
to
over the phone,
or in person.
Right.
If you go there and buy your ticket in person. So I think those are 2 ways that you could probably get around that as well. Great question.
As I said, if people want to volunteer with your organization, that's one thing. And maybe they are unable to volunteer, but they believe in your mission and they want to give money. And so, Valerie's House is well worth your money and or time. And again, if you want to talk to Christine and find out more information, her phone number is 239-841-0382. And as you can hear, she is full of answers and I'm sure she'll help you in any way that she can. We appreciate so much, Christine, you coming on today and talking about Valerie's House and what a difference that Valerie's House can make in somebody's life. So thank you. I hope to have you on again soon. We'll say goodbye until next week, 10 o'clock on Making a Difference.